On our final project, we're going to talk about Black people and human rights in the USA. Our team is conformed by Stain, Pablo, and Dayana. In 1619, first African slaves arrived to Virginia. Over there are sold as slaves, and it's not until a century after, in 1787, that slavery is made illegal in Northwest Territory. But it was only in 1808 that the banning of slave trade was passed by the Congress. Even though the banning of slave trade had passed by the Congress, the Dren's Code case made clear that there was still racism against black people when this case showed that black people were not considered as citizens. In 1863, President Lincoln addressed the Emancipation Proclamation, and he said that everyone who was held a slave shall be free. Later that year, what was called the Black Codes were enforced in southern states of the U.S. These were made by ex-Confederate, and these codes granted basic civil rights to blacks, like the right to marry, the right to own personal property, and the right to sue in court. They also provide segregation of public facilities and place severe restriction on the freedman status as free labor. That same year after the assassination of Lincoln, the Ku Klux Klan was formed in Tennessee by ex-Confederates. In 1868, the 14th Amendment to the Constitution is ratified, defining citizenship to individuals that are born or naturalized in the United States are American citizens, including those born as slaves. Later on, in 1870, the 15th Amendment to the Constitution is also ratified, giving blacks the right to vote. Now we're going to talk about the Universal Declaration of Human Rights that was signed on December the 10th of 1948. We're going to talk about 7 main rights that are written there that will help black people. Right number 2, article number 2. In this one, it said that freedom is entitled with no discrimination of any kind. Now we move to article number 3, which says liberty of security of person. Then article number 4, which is one of the most important for black people, at least at that time. No slavery of servitude shall be held. Number 5 is also important. It says no torture or degrading treatment is allowed. Number 6 talks about the recognition before the law. And number 7, equal protection of the law to every citizen, to every person. Number 8 is the remedy by a competent national tribunals. Weren't so good. And a proof of that is the constant revolts that were made in order to protest for human rights and freedom. In 1963, the March on Washington took place. It was made for jobs and freedom. In that march, the famous speech of Martin Luther King, "I Have a Dream," took place, and it built momentum for civil rights legislation.
Since Barack Obama won the elections in 2009, his goal was to improve the conditions of all people and, as a result, the condition of black people as well. During his administration, the President Obama said that African Americans had made enormous strides. However, he recognized there is more work to do to rid our country of the long-term disparities that have put the African American community at a disadvantage. In an interview made by the Community Voice Journal, the President Obama answered, "What has he done for Black American people?" Restoring economic security to African American families. Permanent tax cuts that promote work and reduce poverty. Making college more accessible and affordable. Getting more Americans into better, higher paying jobs. Helping the long-term unemployment get back to work. Rebuilding transportation infrastructure, rejuvenating the American workforce. Smart transportation planning creates opportunities. Helping Americans keep their homes. Making owning a home more affordable. Creating a simple, safe, and affordable starter retreatment saving products. Expanding access to paid leave. Protecting families from financial abuses, hidden fees, and de- deceptive practices. Providing access to broadband for families in low-income housing, and expanding overtime protections. But nevertheless, these facts are applicable for any member of the American community, including vulnerable groups.
Another, maybe even more important aspect is media indoctrination. And although it might have got better the last years, it still exists. And in movies, advertisements, the media, black people are often still undervalued and shown less superior than white people. And this has as a cause that people associate black people with bad things, with criminality. And most of the time this happens unconsciousness, but it happens. And a really interesting example we found on the internet is this Chinese washing powder advertisement. Racism and discrimination are phenomena existing everywhere in the world. Women, disabled, Asians, Muslims, etc. They're all victims of it. But the most known nowadays is interracial discrimination towards the black society, which clearly has its root in slavery. But in what forms does this discrimination of black people exist nowadays? Well, America is clearly the most interesting case to investigate, for example with the founding of the Black Lives Matter organization in 2012, which strives for equality and equal rights for among every black people and, well, basically everyone. And this organization was founded after in 2012 a 17-year-old black boy, innocent, was shot by the police to death. And you can put this away as an accident, but the fact is that it happens too many times to be an accident. And there actually exists a lot of footage of policemen shooting black people while they were not a threat at all. For example, last year there was this 13-year-old boy who was shot because he was carrying a BB gun with him. Well, and if you look at the International Covenant on Economic, Social and Cultural Rights, Part 2, Article 2.2 is clearly violated here, which states that parties present to the Covenant undertake to guarantee that the rights enunciated in the present covenant will be exercised without discrimination of any kind as to race, color, sex, language, religion, political or other opinion, national or social origin, property, birth or other statuses. And if it's not the law who can protect these folks, then the big question is, who can? Well, and with